Done? Can anyone tell all the 5 stages of team development? Tuckman ladder.
Yeah, they are like forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning.
Adjourn. So these are the stages. Now let us see what each stage is. Okay. Forming is just the team member has joined. This is the phase where the team meets and they learn what are their roles and responsibilities. So you are joined newly into the team. Now that just the project has started, you have recruited the team members. Okay. You have given the roles and responsibilities to all the team members. Okay. And team members tend to be independent and not so as open in this phase. No, they're not so open. You are just forming a team now. Storming. They will start the project work. They just start their work. They take their technical decisions. Okay. But the collaboration is very less because you don't trust each team member. That amicability or that confidence is not started among the team members. So there will be differing ideas, simmering opinions, and the environment normally it will be very counterproductive. Productivity will not be there. Productivity will not be there. Some person says, hey, why don't we do coding this way? You will think, acha aa gaya yaar. He thinks he has attitude problem. You will feel inside. Whatever I am saying, he is denying. Something seems to be very weird. Or sometimes he is very cranky. No, initially it happens when you don't know each other, even with friends also, in school also, when you meet a friend initially first week, so you'll have this storming. What do you mean by storm? Which is very unstable, lot of instability you have. That is storming stage. You don't believe each other. You don't respect each other ideas. You'll start cursing internally. That is the storming stage. Norming. Now you try to get adjusted. You will begin to work together. Adjust their work habits. Okay. This guy is not as stupid as I thought. And ironically, the other guys also thinks the same thing about us. This guy is not as stupid as I thought. So they work together, they adjust their work habits and behaviors to support the team, and they try to trust each other. This stage is called norming. Norming. It happens not only here, even in your school, outside friends, anywhere. First you just form together, then you will try to, there is some type of whether should I trust or not. The storming phase happens, then the norming stage where you start trusting each other. The fourth one is performing. This is where your project performance will be at peak. The team members begin to work together. They work together and they start performing as a well-organized unit, as a cohesive unit. They are interdependent and they work through issues smoothly and effectively. Provided you are creating such an environment. Okay, if you are not creating such an environment, performing will never happen. If someone starts some politics related to the religion, culture, region, language, immediately you have to curb such type of tendencies, attitudes. You have to nurture such an environment, then only the performing stage will happen, or else it will never happen. It will be always storming only. Always storm. There is a storm, cyclone, hurricane, everything is there in the team, not only storming, if you don't address those issues. Okay, so performing. Adjourning. The last stage, your work has been completed and they start moving into the project. The project team members release will start happening now. The staff is released as the deliverables are completed. And remember, as a project manager, make sure that when the project team are released, they have some alternative available in the organization. You talk to other project managers and you try to move them into a different project. Don't try to keep them on bench unless there is no opportunity available. Don't just wash off your hands that your job is done. That is all leadership is all about. It may not be your responsibility to put them in another project. Definitely may not be. But That is a leadership quality. Everything we don't document, certain things we don't document. That is a quality of a leader. It's not a manager. You got to be a leader in order to motivate your team. People will start trusting you. If there is no project, and remember that will affect your project also. Another 1 month, I know that I'm going to release out of the project. I'll be going on bench. I'll be very apprehensive, scared. As a project manager, suppose you look out a project for me 1 month before and you will tell me, Ram, don't worry, there is a project for you. Already I spoke to the project. After once you get released, you will move into that project. My concentration will be on completing this project. Or else my concentration will be always on my next project, whether am I going to onto the bench, am I going to become an orphan in the company, job threat. These things will not allow me to concentrate my work in the project. In a way, your project is suffered. Okay, so releasing projects, you have to look out the opportunities for your team members also, no, how you have to put them into some project, though it is not formally told to you. It's a minimum courtesy you have to show to your team members. People will start loving you. People will start to work with you again, and they will try to give their 100%. Okay, and if you want to develop your team, you have to establish ground rules. See, these terminologies are very important. Ground rules. What is a ground rule? Expectations, setting the expectations regarding acceptable behavior by project team members. These are the expectations. If there is a meeting, 5 minutes before you should be there in the meeting. After the start of the meeting, no one should enter. No late is allowed attending a meeting. Clear ground rules, code of conduct, communication, working together, etiquette, that your dress code. So that will allow you to put some values that are important in the project. Okay, once you establish the ground rules, they have to enforce them. Your team members, your project team members should enforce them. They should start implementing those. So ground rules are very important to bring a discipline in the team, to imbibe some values in the team. If you don't have the ground rules, it doesn't bring discipline in the team. For example, if I set a ground rule for this training, that precisely by 7 you have to log in. You should be ready by 7 o'clock. After 7, if you log in, I will dismiss you. You will not listen to the thing. So, I mean, it may have some repercussions, but I'm just telling an example. Like, no, the ground rules you have to establish. And if you want to develop your project, try to co-locate the people together. Co-location is working in a single location together, physically seeing each other, not virtual teams. The opposite, the antonym for co-location is virtual. Virtual. Co-location, there is one more name for co-location. It's called tight matrix. These synonyms are very important. Tight matrix. Tight matrix. I typed in the chat. You can just have a look at that. Tight matrix. The other name for co-location is tight matrix. And this is a new one in PMBOK 5. See, whatever new in PMBOK 5, definitely you will get more questions. So I will keep on telling whatever new in PMBOK 5, just make a note on it and you concentrate on them more. Every time whenever there is a version change, it is a phenomena that you will be questioned more on the new changes in the new version, on the topics on the new version. Okay, so all the project team members will be in the same physical location. So in order to perform as a team together, you will have a team meeting room. This team meeting room is also called as war room. War room. War room is something like, no, a place where you are working together. The room where you are all sitting together. Okay, so You will have a war room, a single good location. Schedules will be posted on the walls. Good communication. These are the different strategies you can work out. Okay. In order to develop your team. Right? So, what is the next one? Recognition and rewards. In order to develop your team, these recognition and rewards are important. You will recognize and reward desirable behavior, no, the behavior of the team, their work. But remember, as I told you, they are very tricky. You have to plan very judiciously in order to get maximum out of it, or else there's a chance that it will backfire. There are 10 team members, as I told. You have recognized one person, you have given a reward saying star performer of my team. You give some award. Now, next 9 or the rest of the 9 people may take it bad. So when you are putting a contest, make sure that your context can be achieved by everyone. Achievable by everyone. For example, you tied some apple in 7 feet height and you told whoever reaches that apple, whoever jumps and reaches that apple, they will get the apple, they will get the gift. And there is a person who is 6 feet 3 inches tall in your team and the rest are all 5.5 inches or 5.8, 5.9. You are biased. 6.3% easily he will achieve. So, you should set a target that everyone will be able to achieve the target easily. Uses whoever writes a mail without mistakes, I'll give a reward. There may be a person who is communication English is so incompetent. He'll feel it bad. A person who has come from a very good school, from a very good background, English medium school, he may feel it's an advantage for them. So, you should say all the coders, anyone who finishes their work 10% of the time before, they'll be given an award. It is more or less it's logical. Someone's work may be 5 days, someone's may be 10 days, but 10% of the time before. For a 5 days, one person, 10% is maybe 5 hours. So 10% of the work. So you should keep rewards which is achievable by everyone. They should feel that, yeah, he is first among the equals. He should feel in such a way. We are all equal, he is the first guy. So you have to make sure that when the rewards and recognitions are very judiciously planned, and in order to develop your team, there are some personal assessment team. It's not personal, NAL, it's NNEL. NNEL stands for staff, people. Okay, personal assessment tools. It will tell their strengths, weakness, SWOT analysis in order to make the decisions in which area is weak in order to develop. See, remember what I suggest, though PMP doesn't say, which I have good project managers follow, is they collect the skills of all the team members. Primary skills, secondary skills, tertiary skills, weakness, they will develop. Primary skills, you are a .NET developer. So, this is your primary skill. But you know Java also, but not as good as .NET, but some time back you worked for a year or a couple of years on Java. So, those are your secondary skills. For each tertiary skills, you know PowerPoint very well. Slide preparations. So, that is your tertiary skill. Weakness. Communication is weak. So, you have to list out your skills of the team members here. Why? You will know in which area they are strong. Many a times you want an expert in Excel sheet, in doing some VB script in Excel sheet. You will be roaming around who is a very good expert in using the options of Excel sheet. You will be going around. Your team member is sitting next to you. He is a very good in Excel, but you never know that. That is a pathetic thing. You don't know your skills of your own team members, and you are roaming around. So if you know your skills of your team members, one thing is you can improve their skills. The other thing is you can optimize their skills. You can make the best use of their skills. So as I told you before, we work in silos. We don't know what the next person is doing. You can see an ad in Nescafe, no? You'll get an ad in Nescafe. So wife and husband, husband will prepare the coffee. Wife says after marriage, after some time, oh, you know how to make coffee. Excellent. Wife doesn't know the skills of the husband. So we have to feel sorry for such a situation. So you should, that tools you should use to do a SWOT analysis of your team members. What is a SWOT analysis? Strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. What are the strengths of your team member? What are the weaknesses of your team member? What are the opportunities I have if I use this team member? I can use him. What are the threats with this team member? The weakness with this team member? You use these tools and you develop a perfect assessment of your team member. You do some interviews. You do some assessment. Ability tests. You do some analytical tests. Like when you try to, as a fresher, when you try to join some company, they do the analytical testing. They do. You take some written examination, right? So personal assessment tools, you'll use it. And what is the output you get out of this developed project team? You'll get team performance assessments, because you are assessing each member of your team performance. When you are sitting, what trainings are required? Unless you assess the person, you don't know what trainings this guy will require. So when you evaluate your team's effectiveness, it will show such improvements, what improvements are required, improvement in competencies, team retainage, team member retainage. When I'm talking about the turnover rate, staff turnover rate, attrition. In real words, it's an attrition. Attrition is something now, the number of people that resign from your organization. There are different names for attrition. Attrition, turnover rate. So you have to increase the retainage of your team members and increase the team cohesion. What is the teamwork levels? Oh, my team is excellent. They are more like family members. They work together. Team member. So all these things you'll have in the assessment about each team members, and you try to develop them. After development, again you do an assessment. After training, you do an assessment. You brought in some actions. Because of those actions, you will check whether this thing has produced the results or not. These actions has produced the results or not. You have to do an assessment. And this assessment is a regular phenomenal activity which you have to do. It's a regular phenomenon. And EF updates. You will go and update. Okay. Employee training records you will update. The following of the trainings are given to Raghav. Following of the trainings are given to Manish. Following the trainings are given to Murthy. The skills of Murthy's earlier was this. Now these are the skills. After training, these are the skills. Okay. So these are the various things. We put it like the employment, the personal administration. Okay, this is how we have to handle Ganga. This is how we have to handle Hari. This is way of handling the things. This is my lessons learned. You can put it in the OPA. Your lessons learned about developing the team. Okay, though it's not explicitly mentioned that